All right, we are on, baby. Today, my guest, originally from Canada, I think, right?
Yep.
But now you reside in Atlanta, Georgia, and he's a doctor, an MD, with a passion for dance. And we're gonna talk about his history with culture shock in Canada, and he's a real student to the funk style. So, and also, yeah, he's hella buff, man, like a bodybuilder buff. I'm talking about, and yet, he's one of the nicest guy that I know, and because he's always smiling. Every time I see him, man, he's always smiling. So he's one of the coolest and the funkiest doctor in the world. So I'm talking about my boy Ob. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you.
Man, it's last time we talked was when you came to visit. I don't know how many years ago that
So
was,
I,
but
I I came for a medical conference in 2016, and then I dropped
2006.
by.
Oh,
I dropped by your class with one of my colleagues, and we were training together.
yeah,
Remember my colleague,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
you showed him a couple of moves, and he still practices that.
Oh, nice. you know, uh, I make I make fun of one of my students because when you came in, she was like, "Oh my god, who is he?" And so like,
uh,
I after you left, she was asking, "Oh yeah, is he single? Blah blah blah, this and that." So it's always a pleasure to have you, bro. But hey, before we go on any further, I want to show a quick clip. This is actually off of your Instagram, and just you getting down just a little bit. All right, so
uh,
I have to mute the sound for copyright protection stuff,
no
but
worries.
this is just showing everybody how you get down a little bit. And this was what, just maybe half a year ago or something like that.
I get time flies, but I think that was in May.
Yeah, yeah. And just getting down a little bit, right? Because right now you're working as a medical doctor, right? MD.
Yes, sir.
And do you have much time to practice?
I don't really practice. Yeah, like as far as like little things here and there. Like if I hear a nice tune,
Mm-hmm.
I'll hit a few beats. But like as far as a legitimate training session, no, I haven't done that in years.
It's
It's
yeah.
probably last time I actually did a legit training session was 4 years ago when I came out to San Francisco and I stopped by
Wow.
here. Yeah, that
Wow.
would have been a lot. Yeah, for sure.
So it's been a while, but it's still in you.
Yeah, but also, because remember the way I first met you or learned about you was through my older brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my older brother Kelly, he started popping like in the late '90s, and then he found out about your website, and then he linked me towards your website. That's how I started learning all the stuff, watching your videos and trying to learn. But so every time, once in a while when I go home, we might get down a little bit too.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. Let's dig back. Let's start from the get go. All right.
Okay.
How did you get into dancing? Of course, I want to pick your brain about culture shock and stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, let's start from the beginning. When was it? What was it, or who around you influenced you to get into just dancing? Period.
So yeah, that would be my older brother Kelly. You know,
Okay.
um, he was pretty popular in the underground dance scene in Ottawa in like the mid to late '90s. There
Okay.
was there's a really popular club. It used to be popular. I don't even know if they're still doing their thing, but it was called Babylon, and they would have battles and stuff like that, and
Mm.
and he would go and tear it up.
So
You
real
know,
quick, this is Ottawa, Canada.
Ottawa. Yep,
Okay, and that's where
that's
you're
where I'm born and raised.
born and raised there. Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Shouts
So
out to all the folks there in Ottawa if you're
yeah,
watching.
yeah. So he would go and he would battle, and he would always come home and he would just show off his moves and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. And
Now, how much older was he than you?
Kelly's 4 years older than me.
Okay, okay, not too much,
No, he's only
but
he's 4 years older. I'm the last born in my house,
okay.
but he's 4 years older than me. So I didn't necessarily have the interest to kind of learn it at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But then around 2001, when I was in high school, I got the opportunity to participate in. You had this citywide high school dance competition,
Uh-huh.
and you know they one of my friends asked me to be part of the group, so I'm learning
Okay.
this the choreography. Obviously, I didn't know much about popping at the time,
Okay.
so but there was some popping involved. So I asked my brother Kelly, and then he started teaching me stuff.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so that's when the interest started peaking around 2001.
I see. I see. So, okay. So when he first was doing it, you were probably in middle school or
That was
elementary
still in high
school?
school.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then so the friend asked you to be part of the group, and that's when you got really into it.
Yeah, because I mean, my friend was probably the best in our school
Hmm.
in terms of waving, hitting, ticking, popping. Like you know, he was the guy.
I see.
But
So was
I
there?
couldn't do any of that stuff.
So did you guys have like a name for the group or
Yeah, we were called the MJ Boys.
the MJ Boys? What does the MJ stand for though?
Oh, come on, Michael Jackson.
Ah, okay, okay. Just gotta make sure. That's dope. So I'm assuming you guys dance to Michael Jackson songs then.
We did a couple of Michael. What was the most notorious routine we had was the keep it in the closet routine. You
Oh,
know, because
okay.
it was nice and upbeat. But then yeah, we did a couple of good songs. Smooth Criminal, we had a routine of that. Um,
Now you must have footage of that, right? Or is that somewhere in the closet somewhere, or is it lost?
that's gonna be on VHS somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, they're out there somewhere. I don't personally have it
Okay.
because you
Now,
know,
did you say this was a school dance contest?
yeah, it was like a high school dance contest. I think they still do it most in a lot of schools.
So, do you
Whether it's
remember how you guys did?
that year, we came second. We
Oh,
came
okay.
second that year. We thought we should have won, but we came second.
Okay.
And then the following year, I think we did second or third.
I see. That's
Never
cool.
won.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Was it just wait? Was it just you and your friend, like a two-man
No,
crew,
no.
or?
So it was myself, my friend Duas. There was Mike, um, Raul. There was about five of us, five or six.
So who came up with the routine, and was it a collaborative work or?
It was mostly Duas. You know,
Okay.
he was mostly him, and then I think Mike. It was mostly those two. Definitely not me, because I was not I was not at a stage where I could you know, contribute and make up a routine or anything like that. No.
All right. Okay. So tell me about culture shock. So how did you get involved in that? What was it like being part of it?
You know, culture shock. I credit them for a lot of things. I think. How did I learn about culture shock? You know, this kind of coincides with the time that dance really started to evolve and peak in Ottawa. I think
Mm,
that zone of or that era of interest where dancing really started to spark in Ottawa was around 2004, 2005. You
okay.
had the advent of a lot of groups just coming out of the woodwork,
Mm-hmm.
and people, Ottawa University of Ottawa, they have this big um, like kind of lounge like area right when you walk in. You see all these groups just practicing there, and it just became popular. People would just come and just practice. People were practicing breaking, popping. Different dance groups were starting to practice there. There were just random shows popping out of the woodwork, and people would come and perform like talent shows. So that's when it started to peak. And then I was in a dance group, like another dance group. I don't think we really had a name, but with a guy I met at one of my jobs, and then two other people. And then one of them said, "Hey, you know, there's this audition for this group called Culture Shock.
Uh.
It's happening this Friday." That's when.
And wait. This is through the university or?
No, this is where we just practice. But my
Okay.
friend, yeah, he just I don't know how he found out about
I
it.
see. I
I
see.
think he found out about it because he went to school. He went to high school with a member who actually danced for that group at the time.
I see.
So I think he found out about it through him, and he asked him to go to the audition, and through him I learned about it. So we all just went one Friday, And at this point, compared to doing, when you think about doing high school choreography,
Yeah.
and then the jump up to, culture shock and the more technical
Yeah.
style of choreography they're doing, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to swing it. But that's
Wait,
how
so
I
the
learned.
first time you went to Culture Shock event was for the audition?
That was the first time I ever went. The first time I ever went was on. So they have their practice. They would have their practices and their auditions every Friday evening.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went ahead and showed up. Just that one Friday was the audition night.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. What was that like? Tell me, what was that like the first time you dropped in?
yeah. I'm just, it's one thing I'm grateful for is I don't I don't experience nerves. Like I don't have like, obviously you can put me on the spot, but I'm not gonna get nervous.
That's
But there's
that's awesome.
there's plenty of reason to get nervous though.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm with all these people there, seeing all these people stretch. You're
Yeah.
seeing people with different talent levels. They're showing off their moves, and I'm like, I mean, I know how to do some popping,
Yeah.
but even then at popping, I'm still pretty primitive at that. But I know how to do some popping. But I mean,
Yeah.
this level of choreography and this level of movement, I don't know if I'm going to be able to replicate that. But hey, I'll give it a shot.
Right.
And then they taught this choreography. And
Yeah.
it was to a Missy Elliott routine. It was a Missy Elliott track,
I see.
track. But right from the get go, I'm like, wow, this is different. You know,
Yeah,
this
because you probably have to learn a bunch of 8 counts.
the counts. I'm not, well, I was familiar in a sense with counts because of what I did with the high school group and whatnot. But this
Yeah.
is counts. Like I said, this is a more technical, proper style of counts that I wasn't used to.
Right. Right.
5, 6, 7, and 8, 1 and
Uh-huh.
2, 3 and 4. Like the way the counts happen.
Yeah.
It was a lot different than what I was used to, and then just the movement, the technique. That was it flabbergasted me, quite frankly. And then you learn the routine. You get a chance to do the routine a bunch of times. Then you get paired in groups, and what it was is you do the routine, and then you do the routine again. And on the
Mm-hmm.
second time, I believe you at the end of the routine, you just freestyle.
Okay.
So obviously I butchered the routine.
but you knew you could count on your freestyle.
So that's where I got some pops too. Like I got some cheers. For I think that's what salvaged me. That's why
Okay.
they took me.
I
Culture
see.
Shock did not take me because of my ability to repeat the choreography. They took me because I hit hard, and people that were
Yeah.
in the audience that were spectating and stuff like that
Yeah.
were digging my ability to hit
Right.
and pop. So I got selected based off of that into what they call the scholarship program.
I see. I
So
see.
so a scholar, you're not able to perform with a troupe initially. You
Uh-huh.
have to train yourself up, and then when you're ready, they
Right.
gradually bring you on.
Right. Right. This is great. The reason why I'm thankful that you share that is because I think there's a lot of people that may be listening right now, um, who haven't experienced what it's like to audition for a dance team. And I think Culture Shock at the time was a professional dance team. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime you audition for anything professional, it's a little bit more structured, and it could be
Mm-hmm.
intimidating. And having you share that, hopefully people get a better idea of what to expect when they go into something like this. Now, it's very normal for us who never been into such a structure to basically mess up a lot during the routine, part, because whoever the choreographer is at the time, whatever the style that they do may or may not be your forte.
Yeah.
And had it been, if that person was a popper, then you would probably totally excel. But it was something different. But you did the best you could. But it was great that you were able to show off. At the very least, they allow you to freestyle, because I know some other auditions, They barely even look at the freestyle portion, which is
No,
which is a shame.
I was definitely thankful about that part, you know, because it actually showed me that they're not just looking at they're looking at development and potential rather
Right.
than just, you know, inherent and intrinsic skill, which I think is important too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how everyone should be no matter, like, that extends beyond dance. That's anything. If you're just taking someone based on inherent skill rather than like potential, like even in medicine, you know, like
Yes.
that's how you're taking in medicine. You don't just take the kid who has the best hand control because he might be the best surgeon. You take the person who has the potential and that drive that you can see in them, that, hey man, I can probably build this guy into a stellar surgeon or a
Yeah.
stellar physician. That's
Yeah.
how you really evaluate people. So I mean, the fact that they took me on based on what they saw was my potential,
Yeah.
what was extremely endearing to me.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since I've been a part of the troop. I still follow them closely,
Yeah.
but I mean, I often say to anybody who asks, who I can talk to, if it wasn't necessary, if it wasn't for my experiences with culture shock and the
Yeah.
confidence I built in terms of because, you know, being able to develop and be on par with the other dancers there, which is, I never thought I would be able to even be on par with any of them. But the confidence that built in me, it helped me get through med school. Seriously,
Yeah.
that helped me get through medical school. You know, it's not just about, you know, these experiences aren't just about taking it to the limit with that experience and trying to be like a pro dancer or whatnot. You have to take everything from that experience and apply it to all of your endeavors or whatever you're pursuing in life. So what I learned from culture shock is essentially I can do anything. And from that, I think that's part of the reason why I'm here today as a physician. So I mean, I'm extremely grateful to that group.
For sure. And that's a beautiful message too. And I think us dancers who's been in the community for quite some time, we already knew that, right? But then
Mm-hmm.
it's very important that you convey that message to all the people that maybe on the side are looking in, like, hey, maybe I want to learn how to do it. Um, and the thing is, when you get into this dance culture, you don't necessarily have to always end up to be a professional dancer who's a backup dancer for so and so or whatever. You do it for to enrich your life, not just the dance part. Like Obi just said, it helps him even with his med school, and after that, and in probably all aspects of your life. Would you agree?
I believe so. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
That's awesome. So let me go back just a little bit, because when you mentioned culture shock, do you remember the names of the directors, the people that were there? Just want to give a shout out to culture shock Ottawa.
So the director, Marc-Andre Clement. I
All
think,
right.
yeah, I think you met him in San Diego that
In
time.
San Diego.
Well, the first time we met. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Marc
Yeah.
Andre. He was the main director, and then I think some of the other artistic directors at the time were Rosalie, Thénard Louis,
Okay.
and Rana Khoury. I think those were our three. And then there was also Frank Shapcott,
Okay.
but he was kind of in and out. But those were the four
Correct.
most senior members.
I see. Are they still there? Is Culture Shock Ottawa still going?
Culture Shock Ottawa is still pushing strong. I follow them on
Nice.
Instagram. They got the Mighty Shock. They got the Aftershock now.
Right.
They're pushing it strong, and the level of what they do, like the level of choreography, is has evolved.
Mm,
You know, from what I've seen, like when I look on their page, the stuff they do now has evolved from
yeah.
what was happening when I was there.
Yeah.
As far as I think, I know Marc Andre is still there. I think Rosalie is she moved to Toronto, so I think she joined that group. And
Oh, there's Culture Shock Toronto as well.
there was even a Culture Shock Montreal initially when I joined, but I think it's just we in Canada it's just Toronto and Ottawa now.
Wow. Wow. I didn't even know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about you being a doctor. I mean, when did
Mhm.
that? When did you know that you wanted to be a doctor and continue forward?
It was either between. So I had two passions growing up: um, science and computers. I really loved computers. My dad is a computer tech,
Yeah,
computer engineer. Like he's
yeah,
retired now, but you know, I watched him take apart our Nintendo once because we totally screwed it up. I literally watched the man take it apart
yeah,
and put it back together.
and it worked.
So once he did that, sold.
Nice.
Sold. I want to do that. I want to be that guy. But also, I was being pushed towards the sciences too. It's culturally our background, as a Nigerian, a lot of us go into medicine, and
Okay.
I loved sciences. So I think it was just one of those things where my love for science kind of eventually won out.
Yeah.
It won out, and then I decided to go towards med school, and then I started that in 2010.
I see. I see. Now, hearing your story, it kind of made me think that wouldn't it be a more logical choice for you to be some sort of a programmer or a engineer? Why did you choose to be a doctor? I know it's science, but seeing that your dad was able to take apart this machine and fix it and put it back together,
Mm-hmm.
um, because when I think of that, I totally relate, right? Because I was a electrical engineer, so
Yeah.
maybe that's the part that we kind of relate to each other, and anybody else that's listening. As a dancer, you don't always have to be all artistic and non-scientific. It goes hand in hand. And yeah, talk a little bit more about that. Were you ever interested in probably being an engineer or a computer scientist?
Oh, I absolutely was. Absolutely was. I'm enamored by engineering. I give credit to anyone who can go through an engineering program. I think engineering is probably harder than med school. Because I've taken a look at the engineering physics book,
Yeah.
and I was quite impressed. I was quite impressed. I'm like, man, you can go through all of that. Like, kudos to you. But
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things. It was multifactorial. You know, I won't lie. Some parental influences were
Mm,
were, were definitely involved. Like I
okay.
said, in our background, like as Nigerian, obviously your parents kind of give you that nudge
Yeah.
towards medicine. But
Yeah.
also when I looked at it, in terms of career prospects, I feel like getting into engineering now isn't the same as what it was many years ago, like when the field was just kind of evolving.
Yeah.
So, and because of that, there's so many people matriculating into engineering and graduating each year.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where job opportunities. I wasn't quite sure what the job outlook would look like
Right.
by the time I was done. So that was something I took into consideration.
Right.
Because as a physician, it's not very hard to find a job.
Yeah.
But as engineering, I imagine it would be a little bit tougher. So I think it was just a combination of those two kind of
Yeah.
nudged me towards medicine.
Yeah. Dude, I'm just thinking that with all the where I'm at here at in the Bay Area, we have so many people who are part of the Silicon Valley world, the working engineers and stuff like that. When they come to my class at Mission College, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing they probably, well, before they come in, they're probably thinking like, oh, there's probably all these uh, dancers, teenage dancers. So when they actually come in, we have all these working engineers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the way you and I think, we come from more of the academic side, right? And we're able
Mm-hmm.
to apply that to dance. I really think this interview with you is it's beneficial for a lot of people who are listening who may think like, oh, maybe this dancing's too hard. Dancing's kind of like out of our realm. And hearing your story, hopefully they're able to kind of take it in and be like, yeah, maybe I could try this. Maybe I can utilize this and make my life better, because you're a living example of how it did that.
I think you just gotta. It's not about being the best dancer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because trust me, I am not going to be the best dancer. And, I just through culture shock, I've gotten the opportunity to meet ridiculous talents,
Right.
within the group that I was in, and just through traveling with the troupe to different
Yeah.
places. But it's all about using the experience, taking advantage of the experience and just taking from it what I could. That's all. It was just taking from whatever experience I have. I just try to soak in what
Yeah.
I can from it and personally grow from it. That's all.
Yeah.
You're a singular structure, and you're trying to focus on your own personal development to be the best that you can be in whatever field that you want to apply that towards. And if you can take a little something from dance, you can still be the worst dancer in the group, but you can take some aspects from it and use that to develop yourself in every other aspect. And that is exactly how it's done.
Man,
That's
that's
how it's
so
done.
beautiful. You just said the key word right there. When you said it, I had to make a mental note. You said personal development, and that's
Hmm.
something that I'm huge in.
Yeah.
Can you kind of touch a little bit more on that? Like, when did you realize, hey, personal development is important, and who do you read, and who are one of your personal development mentors or idols?
Well, as a physician, personal development is paramount to my ability to take care of people.
Yeah.
So probably one of my greatest mentors, one of the greatest men I know. I met in fellowship. His name is Nitin Puri.
Mm-hmm.
Puri, yeah, he is. He's one of those. He's big on that, and
Yeah.
he's the kind of guy that he'll tell you something, and he'll know that you'll take it home and reflect on it,
Yeah.
and use it to grow.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also as far as growing personally, I mean, I guess the ones who really put that in me are my parents,
Mm.
because I remember I studied so hard for this one test when I was like 16 years old. It was in chemistry,
Okay.
and it was out of 40. I got 36. That's 90%. That's a
Yeah.
good mark.
Yeah.
So I brought it home. I'm like, Mom, Dad, look at this.
Yeah.
I just crushed this test. It was so hard. I got it. My parents took one look at me, didn't smile. They're like, okay, what happened to the other four?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No, but and I was actually quite frustrated with that
Yeah.
until I realized later on why they said that to me.
Mm-hmm.
If you are happy with your status quo, everybody's status quo is different. But if you're
Yeah.
happy with the status quo, then you can't grow.
Yeah.
Right? If you need to eliminate complacency from your dictionary, I can't spell that word
Mm.
purposely. I
Mm.
cannot spell the word complacency because I don't want to spell it, and
Yeah.
it's because of my parents. I can be perfect to a 99%, and they'll ask me where the other 1% is. Not because they didn't think I did a good job, but they want to keep making sure that I'm always trying to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So the attitude and the mentality of that, comes from them, because no matter how good I do at something, my parents personally know, at least for me, that I can keep pushing myself to be better. And I carried that in everything I did. That helped me when I was learning popping, because my brother would come back every summer.
Yeah.
He'd show me a few moves. I would struggle with it. My greatest victory in popping was learning the old man,
Oh, yeah.
because
Yeah.
I struggled like you wouldn't believe. Like, for so long with that move, my brother would come back, he would do it like that,
Uh-huh.
and he would try to walk me through it. I wouldn't get it, and it would even frustrate me. But I kept at it. I kept at it, and I finally got it. It took me like almost 2 years to learn that move.
Man,
Quite
that's
frankly.
that's so awesome. First of all, I think those that struggle the most becomes the best teachers, because you you realize there's so many wrong ways to do it. So when when you have all different students, right, that comes and, hey, how do you do it? You're like, nope, that's not right, because I did it like that too. you know um so I just think you would be a phenomenal teacher. I too, in the same situation as you, where I think I take a long time to try to learn something. I just look at people who can take a look at something and get it right away.
Hmm.
Great for them, like great for them. But I think from what I see is those people that are so good, they have a hard time teaching
Hmm.
because they actually get a little bit frustrated. Like, why don't you understand? You know, you just do it like this. And whereas their bodies are naturally able to do it, you know, a lot of people can't, and a lot of people just don't know why they can't do it.
No, I've seen
Uh,
that. I've seen that.
yeah, and the second part to you is, those anybody out there that's listening right now, in this 2 years, Obi did not quit. How many times have we quit because we can't get something right away? Maybe sometimes 5 minutes, right? Try this for 5 minutes. Oh my God, I tried it for 5 minutes. I don't get it. Okay, I'm gonna quit. 2 years, he didn't quit. No wonder you are at the level of where you are right now in life, not just in dance. That's why I brought you here, because overall you are successful in almost everything you do because you want to do it and you have that attitude of never quitting. So many people hear that, right? We always hear that, oh, never quit, never quit. But to really, really understand that, you have to go through something like trying to do the old man for 2 freaking years and finally get that. I mean, there's a huge difference between someone who gets it after 5 minutes. After you do it for 5 minutes, you're like, you get it, and you're like, yeah, I got it. But imagine Obi, after 2 years, he finally got it. Imagine the joy that he has after 2 years,
I
right?
was quite happy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference. Your happiness is so much different than a person who struggled for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
2 years is a struggle. 5 minutes is not a struggle, right?
I carried that through. I carried that experience through. Even in medical training, when I was training to work in the ICU,
Mm-hmm.
some of the colleagues I met were better at me with some of their techniques using the ultrasound, and there were some things I watched them do. I just couldn't do it for the life of me, and it took me a year to get good at, or to get to the same level as something that I seen people walk in and just be bosses at doing within a month, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's easy to get discouraged on yourself, but I mean, I think it's really, you can be discouraged, but you can't be mentally defeated. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Because at the end of the day, what I tell myself is, one person can do this, but that person has one brain just like you.
Just like,
So
yeah.
as long as you have one brain and I have one brain, I will be able to do it at some point. Maybe not today, but I mean, I'm going to get there and I'm going to be
Yeah.
able to do it just like you. So
Man,
I got
that's
there. I got to that point. And now that same thing that I came in with, being terrible at doing with the ultrasound, typically in the hospital where I work at, they'll call me the different units to bring the ultrasound and
mm-hmm.
do that same technique that I couldn't do when I started.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's great advice. And I was just going to ask you this. Let's think back to all of your teachers, right? It could be dance teachers, it could be your parents, it could be the medical staff that are training you.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best one of the best advice that was given to you? You know, um, Again, you usually we talk about dance, but it could be dance, it could be anything.
Mm.
I know we talked about never quit and just try real hard, but maybe try to think of a specific time if you can, a specific moment where you're like, dude, that was dope advice, that was cool advice.
Let's see. I've been given a whole lot of advice.
I know. I can tell because you are so deep into personal development. I could see that in your life. Almost every
Yeah.
moment you're thinking about how to become better, how to develop myself. So it's probably already it's innate in you for sure. But that's a message that I want everybody to really understand. But maybe some specific stories where you're just like, yeah, this happened, and I'll remember this for the rest of my life.
I think it's one of the best pieces of advice I've gotten from at least as a physician is, and it actually applies in everything you do, is not to skip out on the details.
Mm-hmm.
To be detail oriented and be thorough.
Mm.
If you want to put your best foot forward in anything, even if you're going to start out and just grasp it like that, or it's going to take time. You
Right.
know, your efficiency or probability of success, you know, it's going to improve if you look, if instead of you don't take quick fixes with anything, you're actually pay attention to the little minute details, and be thorough with your approach, you know, in anything you do, especially when you're taking care of patients. You know, you might think you clinched a diagnosis like that, but there's this one little detail you missed out on, and that one little detail has life-changing implications, you know.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
don't want to skip out on that. So I think, you know, the best piece of advice I've gotten is to pay attention to the details,
To the fine
and
details.
everything. And with dance, obviously, you got to pay. If you're auditioning for something and you're missing out on some details that someone else is grasping, that might be the difference between you getting the spot and not getting, you know, not making it to the final cut. Um, as a physician, that can be life or death. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah, so I mean, you play the stock market. Missing some details could be
Oh, that's right.
you know, it could be the difference between you losing a few thousand, or making a profit. So I think
Yeah.
you got whatever you do, no matter how good you are at doing it, you'll always be better for it if you're thorough and you pay attention to the details.
That's right. That's right. Okay, let's flip it. Okay, so we just asked you were some of the best advice. What are some of the worst advice you've been given um, from, or actually worst advice you've heard? Okay, it could be advice that was given to you or that were given to others, and you heard it. You're like, yeah, that's not a good advice. You know, coming from um, whoever it was.
Hmm. Probably gotten my fair share of bad advice. um,
We don't have to say who, but
no, I definitely would not
yeah.
say who. Let's see. Um, probably um, probably some of the worst advice I've gotten probably has something to do with resource management, and and time management. You know, being told that you can kind of, I guess, ignore certain things and put things off. You know, you can study a little bit later. You
Oh,
can
procrastinate.
Yeah, the procrastinating. You know, some of the worst advice I've gotten revolves around procrastinating, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those guys that I do not like to procrastinate. You know, I'm one of those guys that I like to get started on things as quickly as
Yeah.
possible, and not necessarily get it done right away, but get it started so that at least I have time to plan. You
Yeah.
know, but I've gotten, you know, frequently I've heard things regarding putting things off, or you can do this later. You know what I
How
mean?
did you develop that in you? Because um, I'm sure everybody in the world heard, you know, it's would probably agree that procrastinating is not good.
Mm-hmm.
And but the problem with is there's still a lot of people who do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just by the sheer habit. How did you create that habit? How are you able to just be like, I won't procrastinate and develop that habit of doing it right away when you know when you know you should?
Part of it is intrinsic. You need to just kind of develop that mental fortitude and that sense of urgency. You know, because the getting, you know, the chance to get something is always at the present. You know what I mean? There's, you know, opportunities don't wait for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to go out and chase it. So,
Yeah.
and also surrounding yourself with people that motivate you.
Ah, yes.
That's a great thing, you know, too. You know, throughout well, growing up, I had my parents that always pushed me
Yeah.
in dance, in the dance community. I was, you know, culture shock. I was always pushed by all the dancers I met in popping. I always had you, and that always pushed me forward to keep going forward. In med school, I lived with roommates that I was in constant academic competition with. That helped me
Mm.
the most. You know what I mean? Because my drive to do good in school is never better than when I'm competing with someone. Like if I'm one of my roommates, I knew he was going to get a great score on this exam, and we would always talk smack to each other. So I mean, so if I'm going to talk that smack, and I already know he's going to get an A on this exam, it's a written. He's getting an A on this exam.
Yeah.
So the only way I can, keep talking that smack is if I get a better A than he does.
Yes.
And to do that, I can't wait a week to start studying. I got to get it now.
Yeah.
I got to get after it now. Otherwise, he's going to beat me.
That's right.
He's going to start talking smack. So it's things like that. You got to find the things that motivate you to get it now. So for me, and that's a subjective experience. For me, it's surrounding myself with people that I know can academically beat me. If I'm with people that I know can academically beat me, I push myself. In training, if I'm surrounded by people that can do something that is particular to the kind of skill set I need as a physician, but they can do it better than me, then I need to change that. I want to be able to do it just as good, if not better than them. So that pushes me too. You just got to I found the things that I need to surround myself with to push myself further, and I make sure I surround myself with that. So whatever it is, motivates you or pushes you to keep going forward, you have to find that in yourself, or you have to find that and surround yourself with it, so you can keep pushing yourself forward.
Perfect. All right, Obi, I'm going to move to a different section of the interview. I call this this or that. I'm going to give you two choice, either this or that. You just choose. There's no wrong answer. But if you'd like to justify, if you want to explain why you choose one, you're free to do so. You don't have to if you don't want to. Okay? Okay, here we go. You can see this here.
Yeah.
And let's start it. Here we go. This or that. There are no wrong answers. Okay. Toilet paper over or toilet paper under?
Over.
Uber or Lyft?
Uber, just because they're more recognizable.
Okay. Have you used them? Have you used either one?
I've used both. Actually, I used Lyft in San Francisco. I think it was more Lyft in San Fran last time I was there.
Yeah. Soup or sandwich?
I'm a soup guy.
Soup. Meat or veggie?
Meat.
Yeah, I was. I didn't know what I was expecting coming from a doctor. If you were gonna say more veggie or more meat, but it doesn't matter, does it?
I knock the vegan diet, and I'm not necessarily opposed to giving it a shot. But at my baseline, at my heart of heart, I'm a meat guy.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I do want to try to eat more veggie, but just to claim and say that I'm never going to eat any more meat, that's just way too hard for me to even comprehend. So, yeah, I agree with you, bro. Okay, text or phone call?
Text. It's just easier, and I'm a busy guy.
Right. Shop online or shop in store?
Shop in store. It really depends. I'd rather shop in a store, but you shop online when you have to. But
right,
I'm more of an in-store guy.
Yeah. Strength or flexibility?
I think flexibility.
You got the strength already.
But I mean, the flexibility applies more to it reaches beyond just like physical flexibility, but strength could be physical strength or being strong at something that you do otherwise. But I mean, being flexible and able to stretch out and be broad and do all sorts of things.
Yes.
More,
Yes. Thank you for explaining that, because oftentimes when we take a look at this, we always think it's physical. And yeah, that's one aspect of it. But I'm so glad that you mentioned there's more than that. It's not just the physical, it's the mental strength, mental flexibility, personality as well. So there's so many aspects to it. So thank you for acknowledging that. All right, next one. Day or night?
I'm a day guy.
Day. Facebook or Instagram?
I'm an Instagram guy. I think, people are just more on Instagram these days than Facebook, quite frankly.
Right. Okay, Jackson 5 or New Edition?
Oh, come on, man. You guys got to be a Jackson 5.
Okay, so this is something that, like I said, every time we do this, most I would say most people. There's only a few that choose New Edition. But let me ask you this. This is just for fun, okay? Name all the members of New Edition.
You know, jeez, man. I can't.
Or any member of New Edition.
Man, how am I blanking out?
Okay, what about Jackson 5? Of course, you got
You
Michael.
got Michael, Tito, Jermaine. I think those are probably the only three.
Okay. Okay. All right. Then Jackson 5 for sure. Because oftentimes when I ask, everybody chooses Jackson 5, but we're able to name all the members of New Edition, but not the Jackson 5.
I
And I
like New
think
Edition.
somebody mentioned
I like
it is kind of unfair because New Edition has a song that kind of names everybody. So
I like their music. You know, I've listened to a bunch of their songs too, but I think, you know, at least when I say Jackson 5, I also mean that from an evolutionary perspective.
that's true. That's true. Without
They
them, there probably wouldn't be any New Edition
exactly.
either. So
Yeah.
absolutely, I agree with that. Okay, here we go. Sammy Davis Jr. or the Nicholas Brothers.
Not familiar with the Nicholas brothers, so I'd have to say
Okay.
Sammy Davis Jr.
Okay. Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to send you some clips and some history about the Nicholas brothers. These guys are legends. They're like gods, just like Sammy Davis Jr. though. So,
Hmm.
all right. In Sync or Backstreet Boys?
I preferred NSYNC, man. They had a couple of tracks that I liked a lot, actually. I did a choreography in medical school
Yeah.
with that had a little bit of popping and locking in it to Dirty Pop.
Oh, okay. Dirty Pop.
Yeah, man.
All
I mean,
right.
you know that's totally a pop. You can break something out to that track.
Right. Right. All right. Yep. Pancake or waffle?
I like waffles better.
Waffles. Music or podcast?
Music, although I'm starting to listen to podcasts more often.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's one of your latest podcasts that you listen to?
Oh, honestly, it's the Internet Book of Critical Care,
Ooh.
IBCC. These guys are probably the top dogs in the field of critical care medicine in terms of
Wow.
like online presence. You know, their stuff is legit. The guy, the physician who runs it is an absolute genius. So
Man, I think whoever your patients in the future will be, they're very lucky to have you, bro. And I would love it to hear some stories of you, as you care for your patient, when you make visits and you just start popping for them.
one day,
That could be like, one of the medicines that they have. Come see me once a week and I'll pop for you to cure your illness.
that would be dope, man.
That's the prescription right there. All right. Air or water?
Air,
Air.
nice, cool breeze.
Mm-hmm. Breaking or Beat Street?
Breaking, because you got Taco in there,
Yeah.
and he's just doing the stuff he's doing in that movie,
Yeah.
and then and a young Pete.
Yeah.
But Beat Street, I mean, you can't knock Beat Street.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. All right. Peanut butter or Nutella?
Peanut butter, it's got more protein, man.
Ooh, that's right. Coming from a doctor, so you know.
You need to get that protein.
Prince or Michael?
Michael, but you can't knock Prince, but Michael.
All right. Iced coffee or hot coffee?
So I'll tell you, I don't drink coffee. I would choose hot coffee, but I do not drink coffee. As a matter of
Oh.
fact, I've never had coffee before. People think
Mm.
I'm weird because I made it through med school and I'm a physician that doesn't drink coffee, but I've
Mm-hmm.
never had coffee before.
Ah. Passenger or driver?
Driver, I'd rather drive, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, some people are just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I kind of prefer driving too.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if it's psychological that you get more control, um, but I
I
think
haven't had
part.
the experience of being the passenger in many cars unless
Uh,
I'm doing Uber, and I don't do Uber much because I don't need to where I am.
Yeah.
So I'm just not used to it anymore, you know.
Yeah. All right. iOS or Android?
iOS. I've debated switching multiple times, but
Hmm.
I'm still here.
So have you always been iOS?
Always. Yep.
Okay.
Always.
All right. Yeah, I think I started off iOS, and it was just too much slowing down of the old phones. You know, I mean, they always push you to upgrade to the new phone, and for a while I didn't upgrade, and I could see that every time I update my software, it just you could clearly tell they purposely slowed it down. So I was like, enough is enough. Forget it. I'll switch over to Android.
Mm.
But of course, I still have my iMac and my MacBook Pro, so I can't completely escape, anyways. Okay, moving forward, rhythm or balance.
Ooh. Ooh. Oh wow, that's a good one.
They're so closely together.
Yeah, yeah. I think honestly, I'm gonna say balance.
I like that. I like that. Um, Also, just from all the interviews I have, all dancers, it's so easy to just choose rhythm, right?
Hmm.
So maybe you could, if you want to, kind of justify a little bit balance over rhythm.
When I like I say when I see the word balance and take a kind of an all encompassing viewpoint of that term, someone who's balanced, you need a little bit of rhythm to be balanced, but at the same time, you need to be kind of in harmony with all sorts of other aspects too. Someone who's balanced recognizes that there's more than just rhythm that's needed to be a
So
successful
good.
dancer.
So
Yeah.
good. Great answer. I love it.
So
Awesome.
I think I like balance. Dog or
All right.
cat? I think I'll take a dog. I had a dog for 18 years.
Oh,
You know, she
okay.
she she was
Awesome.
a very loyal dog, and she was a small little thing, but she wasn't afraid of anybody.
Mm.
I had to appreciate that.
Nice, nice. Cardio or weights?
I know it might seem like I'm gonna say weights because I'm a bigger guy,
Yeah.
but and probably if you asked me this question 5 years ago, I'd say weights, but cardio is everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From a health perspective,
Right.
you know what I mean? Being
Yep.
cardiovascularly fit and healthy will give you much more longevity than being muscularly strong.
Right.
And if you have cardio, your energy level at whatever job you do is going to be that much better.
Yeah.
So even today, I went to the gym today, but I didn't actually, I didn't lift, I lifted, but I didn't lift heavy. I spent
Mm-hmm.
more time on the rowing machine. I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
rows and
You're
then
doing
trying to do like
cardio.
this little, yeah, I want cardio because I want to
You know,
get more
I
energy
did
work.
suspect that you were going to choose cardio, being that you're a balanced person, and
Hmm.
already you got the strength. So, uh, too much of strength is not good. So you want to balance out with the cardio. So I suspect that you were
Absolutely.
going to get that. Very wise. Very wise. All right. Basketball, or football.
Football is easier for me to watch.
Mm.
I like them both, but I just
Okay.
it's just I think football is just it's you know what it is honestly. It just football seems more of a chess match to me. I like watching chess. I like chess matches in general,
Mm.
and with the scheming and all the
Yeah.
coordinating involved with plays and just
Yeah.
I think quite frankly there's a little bit higher level of intelligence associated with the game of football.
Mm. Mm.
And I
Okay.
think basketball you can get away more with skills, with
Mm-hmm.
individual skill in basketball than you
Sure.
can in football.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that you would choose basketball only because you're originally Canadian. So when I ask this question to people who don't live in the US, it's always basketball because they don't really have football in their country. But
No,
you,
we got the Canadian Football League in Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
They got the 3 down system rather than the 4 down system
Mm.
that they have in the States. But and actually, some of the nurses actually joke and kind of nudge me about this at work. I'm like, listen, man, we got football up north too, you know,
Ah,
and I
okay.
would debatingly say that it's actually a little bit more high flying than it is down here in the States because you only have 3 downs to make it.
Yeah.
So people are punting after 2 downs rather than they're punting after 3. So obviously, if
Ah,
you're gonna punt after 2 yards, I mean after 2 downs, you're gonna be more prone to long passes and stuff like that. All these
right.
high flying plays at an earlier stage, and you will be if you have a little bit more chances to get it.
Mm. Is it also 11 on 11 or is it
Yeah,
okay.
same amount of players.
And the size of the field, is it the same as well?
The end zone is a lot bigger. It's still 100 yards, but the end zone kind of just expands out, and it's huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I need to get educated on that. I need to watch more Canadian football.
I mean, all these players that don't necessarily make it up here or they don't get drafted up here. Where do you think they go?
Oh, okay.
They go up
Okay.
north, man.
Yeah. I thought they have the thing arena, they got arena leagues here.
So that's so. I mean, so if you're trying to make it to the NFL
Yeah.
and you don't make it to the NFL, your options are arena football or I think they had XFL, but then that went bankrupt again.
Right.
I think they had like an NFL in Europe. I'm not
Mhm.
sure what's happening with that. I don't know if they still have that anymore. Or you have Canada.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so there's options for you. Yeah.
Okay. Cool, cool. All right. Horror or comedy?
Oh, horror easily. I mean, it's hard to meet people that appreciate good horror, but I am a horror movie lover to the
Oh, okay.
core.
I'm gonna pick your brain. What's I guess all-time favorite if you have one?
All-time favorite would probably be The Exorcist.
Exorcist. Now there's three, if I or
The,
four.
the first one from '79,
The original one.
or that was in '79. I think that was '73, or oh, what was that? It was in the '70s.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was early 70s.
That one's scary. But my favorite of the new school generation, like this modern horror movies, is probably Annabelle with
Oh,
with
okay.
with the doll. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I agree with that. All right. Dine in or delivery?
Well, pre-COVID, I would tell you Dine-In.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now it's
Right.
now it'd be delivery if anything, or I'd probably just cook myself. But
Yeah. Yeah, let me ask you though, as far as dining, like what type of food is among your favorite?
well, in Atlanta, they got a lot of Nigerian restaurants. Being a
Ooh.
Nigerian man, I love Nigerian food. That or Indian food. I love Indian food, probably because some of my best friends from that I trained with as a physician were Indian, so I had no
Mm,
choice but to go to some Indian restaurants, and I got the chance to like their food.
nice.
Very
Nice.
filling, I'll tell you. I went to an Indian restaurant actually on just a few days ago, I think on Sunday,
Yeah.
and I ate there at lunch, and I didn't eat again for the rest of the day. That was
Wow.
it. It was done, done.
I'm gonna have to. I mean, there's a couple of Indian restaurants here in the Bay for sure. I don't know. I didn't really look for it, but I'm gonna have to look for some Nigerian restaurants here for me to try it out for sure.
Yeah, hopefully they have them down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Mayo or mustard?
Mayo.
Mayo.
Make a nice tuna fish sandwich. Put some mayo on it.
Ooh, I like that. Taco or burrito?
Taco. I don't have a lot of experience with burritos.
Okay. Salsa or bachata?
Bachata, because it seems a little. I tried it once and it was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's actually tougher, quite frankly.
Ah, okay. Car or truck?
Does SUV count in the car category or truck category?
Ooh, I don't know.
I think a truck is a truck, and I think SUV fits in that car category.
I think so. I think you're right.
I'll take a car then.
All right. Motorcycle or bicycle?
Motorcycle. Even my mom killed me, but motorcycle.
Do you have you had one before?
No, but I've toyed with the idea of it before, and I've kind of just probed
Yeah.
my parents on that idea,
Yeah.
and I've gotten bad reactions from it.
Yeah. All right. Funny or smart?
uh, well, if all you are is smart, then you're no fun. But you can be fun and smart. I'll be funny.
Okay. All right. Money or free time?
Free time, especially as a physician, it's
Mm-hmm.
one of those things. If you're a physician, your money usually isn't an issue. But I mean, if you have no free time to spend the money, then what's it good for, anyways? Quite
That's
frankly,
right. That's
yeah.
right. Now, what are just what are your hours like? Are you at the hospital like 15 hours a day or
So when I go into work, it'll be at least minimum 12 hours, but 12 plus hours every time I go in.
mm,
So it could be 13 or 14 hours by the time I leave. And then I actually have been going in on some of my off days because it's so busy lately with this with things going on around in the pandemic.
yeah.
Things have gotten so busy, so I've been going in extra to help out.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a lot of free time.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. All right. Blue or red?
Blue.
Blue. Tupac or Biggie?
I say Biggie. I think he was a bit of a better lyricist,
Okay.
but I would have to admit Tupac was probably more real about the actual real life issues and
Mm,
whatnot. But some of the the way Biggie rhymed though, I mean, man, that guy can rhyme.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, brother. That is it. You did awesome, man. Fantastic, bro.
One thing I wanted to add and just let you know,
Yeah.
another big motivator that I should have I mentioned to you about that you might resonate with was Skeeter Rabbit himself was a huge motivator for me because as you mentioned, I've always been a bit of a bulkier guy, and when I
Yeah.
was watching videos, I haven't seen a lot of people with my size, getting down,
Yeah.
and in 2001, I still have this email if I have to dig back into my Hotmail account,
Yeah.
but I actually emailed him in 2001,
Okay.
and I told him that because I mean he was my favorite too,
Yeah.
and I just told him how much I love his style, I love how he moved, and
Yeah.
people kind of knocked me because of my size, but then I watch you and stuff like that, and man, that guy wrote me back and he gave me the just a incredible motivating message, man. He told me he loves it when he hears that like
Yeah.
big dudes are getting down, and
Yeah.
to keep pushing it, that I can be just as good as anybody else, man. The size doesn't matter. And I mean, Skeet was better than everybody, and he was that guy was probably twice my size, man. He was a lot bigger than I am, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and the best thing he told me is like he's like, yo man, hit me up anytime you want, just give me a little bit of time to get back to you, but hit me up anytime. I'm like, I still have that email somewhere in my Hotmail. That was one of
That's
those things
right.
where
That's right.
I'm
You
like, I
never
am never
never
deleting
delete
that.
that.
Oh no, hell no, I would never delete that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to add to that too, Skeet, you know, he types really, really slow. So he must have he must have spent a lot of time writing back to you. So I think you definitely made his day. Hearing that from you, and he's just genuinely a nice guy. I mean, you definitely remind me of him too, just physically as well as the genuine um, positive nature of you guys. Even though Skeeter Rabbit, yeah, if you don't know him, if you never try to get to know him, appearance, first time you see him, big scary dude, kind of rough, and he is a gangster, a real gangster. So it's really easy to uh, presume that he's violent, But when you get to know him, man, he's just a happy guy. He always wanna uh, lighten the mood. He always loved telling jokes and things like that. So for sure, you connected with him, and he responded to you. That's awesome, man. He's definitely my big brother. I'm fortunate enough to kind of learn from him and be mentored by him. So,
Yeah,
uh,
man, I still
so
watch his clips whenever I get a chance.
oh yeah, even to this day, like looking at his old clips, I'm like, I'm still learning stuff from it.
Hmm.
So I think for those that are trying to get into popping, Skid Rabbit for sure, and especially if you're muscular. And one of the thing about being muscular is it's really easy to be stiff, be too tight. And talking about flexibility, even though as big as he is, as muscular as he is, he's freaking flexible.
He was,
Uh,
man. I've seen he was very limber,
yeah,
extremely limber for his size.
yeah, yeah. So for sure, I mean, I could talk about Skid Rabbit all day long. I know you can too. So, but brother, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to
I appreciate it, man.
to educate me with your dance history, man. For sure we got to chat more. I want to have you back on more and let me know how things are going over there for you.
Awesome.
I would love to hear stories about you dancing for your patient, man. I'm gonna wait
That'll
for that
happen.
one day.
Well, it'll happen, man. When I can get someone who's on life support, get them off life support, and have them
Oh
walk out of the
yes,
unit,
yes,
or have them walk out of the unit, I'm gonna do that.
that's
Absolutely.
right. That's right, brother. All right, man. Well, thank you so much, bro.
All right.
And everybody else who's joining us today, thank you guys for joining us. This is my brother OB, and he's out there representing, for the doctors. Doctors, get down, baby.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
do.
Until next time, brother. Everybody, let's make it funky.
All
Peace
right.
out,
Take
guys.
care.